What's up, guys? So I want to do a video of our Rhino Link board. Just kind of give a current status, kind of the next generation of our Connect Pro board that we have. We've added a Bluetooth module, and then we developed our own app to bring a lot more functionality and a lot more integration with your vehicle in there. So just kind of want to hop on here and let me set the camera up, and I'll kind of run through everything about the board and try to do a high level of just kind of where it stands right now. So see you in a few. All right, before I get too far in it, I just kind of want to do an overview. I have one rock light on each of the 5 channels. I actually have, there's 2 power output relays right now, one hooked up to this little penny light, and then we have our own little white board here. And then as you see, there's actually 12 inputs there, auxiliary inputs that you can assign with the app. So just kind of wanted to show you the board real quick. So let me get this set up and I'll show you what it's about. All right, so I've opened the app. I'll hit scan just to kind of show. It'll pull up all your Bluetooth connections. I'll hit Rhino LED and it'll bring me into kind of the home page of the app. So this is the first screen. It's called Solids. This is just something where you can select solid colors and actually output it on whatever channels you want. Down here in the corner, I have kind of a little icon. It's actually floating and allows you kind of quick access to brightness and speed settings. So at any point you can kind of just quickly change those if you want. I didn't want it taking up real estate, so I kind of put it as an icon. And then you can also come in here, uncheck some settings or channels. These are the channels. We have 5 outputs and we actually have a channel per each. And then you can come in here and select the color you want, and it will target those 2 channels and change the colors. These are editable, so you can rename these channels in the app as well. So if you put certain products on certain channels, you can actually rename them to whatever you like, and that way you'll have you'll know exactly what channel does what. And then you see we have just kind of a slider here as well. Kind of drag your finger around and choose kind of whatever color you want. And so that's kind of an overview of the solids page. So now let's move on to the themes page. All right, so I'm gonna go to the themes page by clicking themes down here. And so what this kind of is, there's a little functionality going on. You still have your icon you can drag around and quick access the speed and brightness settings. And this first screen is just kind of a bunch of built-in patterns that we did. So we'll hit dance floor and just let's see what it does. I have not actually gone through every single one of these because I kind of had them randomly generated, which is kind of cool. Hitting a couple, so that was Halloween. And then as you see, it gets highlighted here, and you are able to favorite them, which will then put them into a favorites tab for you if you want. Or you can uncheck that and it'll show all of them. Another cool feature is we actually have auto mode. And auto mode is actually one that in the settings you can change kind of how long it stays on that pattern. And so then it'll just auto cycle through them all. I probably need to check because it might be, oh, there it goes. Didn't know how long it was set, didn't actually look. And then you can stop that and keep it on one. And then you have a random one that will just kind of randomly choose one of your liking. There you go, must not have clicked it. And it went to calming water or calm waters. And so that's kind of just like the quick themes where it's an animation and some colors selected. And then let's say you have your machine and let's say it's a red and blue theme, or let's do red and green because that's already in here. We have a My Palette, and what this allows you to do is select your colors you want, and then you can actually drag this slider to how many themes you want, and it will actually generate themes for your color combo with the animations. So you can actually come in here and click that, and that's called Firework Burst. And it uses those 2 colors and does that animation and pattern. And let's say you actually want to keep that. You're like, hey, I like that, that's cool. I want to keep that. We'll increase the speed a little and see if it explodes a little faster. There we go. Well, you can actually hit the heart icon and it'll save it. And what that will do is if you go back to quick themes, there's a custom category, and that falls underneath there. And so if you go back to My Palette And so if you wanted to add a couple more of these because you do like them, you can do that, and it will put that underneath that tab. And if you notice, we actually have multiple of categories here, kind of based on the patterns. This all comes from the patterns that we actually generated. And so it kind of put them in a category for you so that we can kind of see what you like there. But this is kind of an overview of the themes. And then if you go to your custom ones, you can do the same thing where you say auto mode, and it will cycle through your favorite ones that you liked. I'm gonna turn that down so it's not as fast. So that's kind of a overview of the themes. All right, now let's go to custom. And custom is almost the same thing as kind of the theme creator, but it gives you a little more control. So you can go in here, add your colors you want, and then this is the list of all the different animations that we have in here, that we have, or I have wrote, as well as some sound ones, along with the colors that you select. And then if you hit save pattern, it will actually add it here, and then you can do the same thing. Oh, well, I need to select a channel. That would help. So let's select all channels. I'll leave 5 to what I was doing. Click it. And then now if you notice, the other 4 are doing something different from the other one. So again, we can individually target these channels and tell them what to do, which is kind of cool. And all this is affected by the speed and brightness. So if I were to go and max this out or turn it back down, because that does blind the camera quite a bit. And again, you can come in here, select another one with the colors, and whatever you select as the animation, it'll put up in the name, but obviously you are able to change that name as well. So now if we go and select the other pattern we created, and so now we have custom patterns where you can individually select the colors you want as well as the animation, and then save it in here. And so that's kind of the custom patterns we have. All right, well, let's move on to what I like to call the HUD. All right, so what this is kind of quick access buttons. Our core functionality of our Connects Pro board was turn signal, brake, reverse. And so I wanted to preserve that kind of core. As you see, when I did hit that, we have an override where this will go max brightness. So that's kind of what you see there. But again, if you have turn signal on and then you hit brake, it doesn't override the turn signal. So that's an important feature. And then now if you actually hit reverse, same thing. Those two will come on bright. It doesn't honor the brightness you have here. It will full tilt boogie, if you will. And then something else we have done is, if you notice the turn signal is just kind of flashing, well, we actually have different versions of that turn signal. And so there's multiple versions we have in here that you can really customize this to your liking. So as you see, that's kind of a pulse, and it will honor for both sides. So when you activate it, it remembers what you set for both sides, and then as well as brake. The brake one as well has kind of a multitude of versions. So that was just straight on. You had the pulse. There's a few other ones in there. I won't get into them all. SOS mode, still that kind of flash back and forth. And something else that's cool is when you have the HUD up and you have it, say, mounted in your tablet or in a tablet holder in your side-by-side, and you have these manual triggers still. Well, if you notice, the reverse actually lit up. Well, sorry, I'm doing this in the dark a little bit. So there's the turn signal one, but you notice the HUD, the button actually lit up to show that we selected it. So that's kind of cool. We have two-way communication going on here. And so what that allows you to do is, if you have a physical switch you want to hook up to this, you can put a physical switch connected to the board and it'll initiate the turn signal still. But if you had your tablet open or phone open, it will light up the button as you initiated it. And all this is customizable. This is the kind of the meat and potato, if you will, of this system. Is if I go in here, I do have something called tablet mode where it kind of makes everything much bigger for you. But you do have some features like you can take away a column, you can add a column. You know, it kind of gives you a flexibility to kind of customize your look and feel here. But you can go, and if you notice, so left turn signal is on auxiliary 6. And right turn signal is on auxiliary 7. And so all that is customizable, where you can add custom buttons and put them on auxiliary if you want, and then you can trigger it from 12 volts on the board. So something I want to show you is, if you remember, I actually have 2 output channels. We are upping it to 4, but right now we have 2 output channels that are just 12 volts. They're just designed to trigger a relay. In this example, these are very low wattage or low voltage lights or amperage lights, and so they're not going to break that. But if I go into auxiliary 10, I want to say it's a toggle switch. I can pick what color it is. I'm gonna make this one a little larger. We have over 200 icons, so I'm just gonna select an icon for that button. And I'm gonna go over some of these a little bit, but I'm gonna keep it at no LED action and just put on output 2. And output 2, I have one of these lights on. Well, I also wanna say I want this to pulse. So I'm gonna save that. You'll see the new button show up, and then it's a toggle, so I'm gonna click it, and you see that light came on, and it's pulsing. So let me go back in here. I'll edit it. I go back to that button. I wanna make it a momentary switch, but I wanna change it to a solid color. It's just solid. It just turns on, no more pulsing. So let's push the button, and you see it comes on. So think about the possibilities of this. Is we can actually tie this. This is tied to aux 10. So let me go over to the board. Let me see if I can count correctly. Yep. So I triggered aux 10. So let's think about that. We could put a door switch on your side-by-side. It will trigger the auxiliary and then turn on like an interior light. Like, that's the kind of flexibility we have this system, because we're able to go into the app and dynamically configure these buttons. So let's say I want to go to auxiliary 10. Let's say I want to go to patterns. I want to pattern select, and I want to go in here, and I have that stack pattern I created. And then I want to set the brightness about 75%, and then I want the speed kind of all the way up. And then I want to say this goes on all channels, but I keep my output relay. So what this is telling me, or what I'm telling the system, is when I hit that button, I want it to change everything it's doing on every single channel. I want it to do this custom pattern I have, and I want this output to come on solid. This is a good test case to see if I'm doing my job well. So let's hit the button. And the LEDs are changing. Might be a little hard to see. And I picked a pattern that's kind of a slow animation there, but you did see every single one of them change. There they go, they just went to green. So now I'm gonna release this, and then that's going back to doing what it was doing before. So it allows you a ton of flexibility to really customize these buttons with our system. Now the beauty to this also is you can come in here and add just a shortcut button. And all I wanted to do is turn on the other LED that we have here. So I'm just gonna name this. I'm gonna go down here, let's see. Whoop. Control. Well, I don't think I have it on the screen. Hit. It's a good change I need to do. Good test. But let's just say I want to add a shortcut for a theme. And I want to select one of the themes we saw. Let's do Firework Burst. That's actually a pretty cool one. So now when I hit this button, it's a momentary switch. When I hit this button, we should override and see that custom theme happen. There we go. You see him going? There we go. Now I released it. So that's kind of what I want to show you on the HUD page there. Let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, everything's a work in progress. I'm doing a lot of testing, but I will welcome your feedback. This is also getting kind of long, so there's some more I can show here, but that's kind of the basic and the foundation. So let me go on to the settings. All right, we're gonna click over to the settings. And this is where, like I mentioned, we can come in here and say we want to edit our name. So I'm gonna backspace this out. And let's put whips. Save that. This is where you can rename your controller as well. So we still have that feature where you can rename your controller. As you see, the counter for the seconds, and then another thing to do tablet mode. And then a big restart to factory defaults. So this will wipe all your settings, clear all the memory on the hardware, and just kind of get it back to that factory point. And you'll have to reconfigure everything if it's something you want to do. And so let me go back. I saved it. Let me go back to, let's see here. Oh, did I not save it? Maybe I didn't. Doing this live. All right. There we go. So as you see, it is called whips now. So let me turn that. Let's just turn that to blue. And then there you go. And then I can come off of that one and turn this one red, yellow. And so that's the settings. Now I tried to integrate something that I thought would be kind of useful. And my creativity only goes so far, but it was something I wanted to see if I could implement. So let me go to the whips. Actually, let me check. So I'm gonna go hit the brakes. Oh, I forgot I did a custom pattern, didn't I? No. Yep, so these two are the brakes. So I'm gonna go back to my settings. Let me see what channel those are. I think that's 4 and 2. Nope. All right, so yep, 4. Not 2. There we go. Sorry about that. That took a minute. All right. So 3 and 4 are the rear channels. So if I go down to settings here, let me go to 3. And I want to say I want this to start up red at 12, 13%. Save. We'll go to this one. I want to start up red at 12%. We'll save it. And let's see. So let's go select all. Let's do a blue color. Okay. So I'm going to turn this off. Let's see if this works. All right, so everything's off. As you see, the iPad disconnected. Turn it on. And it looks like the two rear channels did go back to that red. Those two should have stayed the blue, but let's go back to and hit the brakes. So what I was trying to get at is we could make a, say you have LED strips on here, you could put them as tail lights. You could put these lights as tail lights, and then you can activate the brake. And so there'll always be this low dim color, then you can activate brake. The startup settings is a way to just kind of always default to that. So that way, if you do come in here, and let's see if it actually works, but let's say we turn it blue, or not. All right, let's go back to blue. Not sure what that was about, but all right, let's say we have them blue. Then if this works like it should, if I power cycle it, then when we boot it back up, it should go back to that, it should go back to the red color. Now, something I do have in here is as you're selecting colors and patterns, I did put a slight delay on the board to save it. So I think what caught me last time is I changed the color and instantly shut it off. Well, that wasn't enough time for it to save. So let's see if it did it. So we'll turn it off. Turn stuff back on. There we go. So now those are red and these channels are blue. Go to the connects board. Oh, go to the HUD, and then now if we activate the brakes, bam. So the startup profile just gives you a way that, hey, every time I shut this off, no matter what I did to the colors, the channels, every time I shut this off, when this starts back up, I want it to go here. That's what it allows you to do. So it gives you the opportunity to probably be more creative than I can, but it gives you the opportunity to do some cool stuff with that. So there we go. That's a quick overview of the system and where it stands. Let me know if you have any questions. I appreciate you guys listening, and send us an email if you got any questions. All right. Hopefully that was informative and not boring, but that's what I've been working on. I've wrote a ton of code for the firmware, for the Bluetooth app. I'm just going through testing. I think I'm feature locking it now, unless something crazy comes up. I almost at capacity of memory on the board with the CPU. So yeah, I think we're gonna get where I might get some beta testers. I can push it to the Apple Store once I meet all their demands, but then I can invite, as long as I have your email, certain people. So I might open up a kind of alpha-ish stage of testing to specific people that either are willing to purchase a bunch of our ecosystem or currently have our RGB ecosystem, and then allow you to kind of have this thing if you're willing to possibly have bugs. But that's something I'm looking into now, because obviously this board is very expensive to make, but having other users kind of play around with it, test it, give me feedback to see if I need to change anything will be vital. So if you watched all the way to this video, then maybe drop a comment and I can reach out and we'll see about getting you in the program. I'll probably have a link and or a newsletter go out and have kind of a form to sign up as well. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I just want to do a little thorough, more testing, try to break it, just hit a bunch of buttons, see if I can confuse it kind of stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Please give me some feedback.